Ben Healy is the hero as Edinburgh edge a tight one against Connacht. My name's Mark. Let's talk rugby. Connacht are on the attack early on in this one. You know, they're trying to move the ball, but Charlie Shield, he gets in and strips the ball, and just like flicking a switch, Edinburgh go from defence to attack. So quick to transition. They get the ball out to Bennett. He breaks up the wing. Then he puts Goosen over to score in the corner. Healy converts for 7-0. Edinburgh just so dangerous on turnover ball. Connacht then have an attacking line out, but first of all, they overthrow it. They do manage to claim the loose ball, but then about a phase later, they knock the ball on. Things not quite clicking for them tonight. Connacht are trying to apply pressure, but the Edinburgh defence and the scramble that comes with it as well is coping with everything that they're throwing at them, and it feels like Connacht, maybe they need just a little bit more accuracy at key moments, and maybe to slow down a bit as well, because both teams are playing 100 miles an hour. Connacht, they work it to within 5 metres, but again, lack of composure from them. Ball goes loose. Tom Dodd, he gets to that ball and just whacks it up the field, and we're back on halfway. Schoeman then gets over the ball. Hooson is still in there, hasn't rolled away, and we've seen a lot, you know, especially the last year, where referees actually ping the defender who hasn't rolled away rather than rewarding the jackler. But this one, Schoeman actually gets the penalty there. Kind of mixed feelings on that, in that, you know, you want to see consistency from referees, but also I just love to see a great jackler getting rewarded. So kind of happy that Schoeman got the penalty there, but still, you know, I'd kind of like to see it lean a bit more towards the jackler, but it be consistent as well between referees and across games. Anyway, Edinburgh, they go up the line from the penalty, set up the maul. Connacht don't get in there, they disrupt it, they make it unplayable, turnover. They get the ball out of the scrum. Scrum for Connacht was under a lot of pressure at times, and means that they had to scramble. So scramble the kick clear, doesn't go all that far. Edinburgh come back at them. Kinghorn then finds a half break, Porch flying up out of the line. Kinghorn just about gets scragged by Daly, and then Connacht forced a knock on from Schoeman. Sebastian then gets pinged for offside, and it's a kickable penalty to Connacht. Carty makes it 7-3. Edinburgh then go up the line from a penalty for contact in the air. Again, Connacht do well to halt them all, but Edinburgh spread it, and they're stretching that Connacht defence as they probe for a gap around about 5 metres out, but the ball does go forward for Edinburgh, and that's half time. 7-3, low scoring but high on excitement in the first half. Second half we had a few more scores, and the excitement went up a notch as well. Connacht into that second half trying to change it up a little bit. They're putting up contestable kicks. Porch gets one wrong and just completely clatters into Kinghorn. He landed awkwardly, maybe on a stud or something like that, but it's a penalty to Edinburgh. Porch though comes off the worst of that collision. We have a break then as he's treated for a nasty cut, and he goes off on a buggy. Hawkshaw on for him, and we don't see Porch. Did we? Yeah, I don't think we saw Porch again for the rest of the game. Like it looked like a really bad cut. When we got underway again, then Mata with a big carry, and that forces a penalty for Edinburgh. Connacht not rolling away. Ben Healy lines up the penalty but misses. I think that was maybe the first time he missed from the tee this season. A loose kick though from Connacht, you know, shortly after that, collected by Kinghorn. He gets out to the edge. Just kind of one of those ones where, you know, we see Pinot do it as well for France, where he just kind of runs across the front of the defence, just tempting players out of position, and he's able to do that. He evades a couple of attempted tackles, then gets it out to Duhan van der Merwe, who pins his ears back, cuts back inside, and then he pops the ball off to Velicott, who goes over to score. And it really was a well-worked try from Edinburgh. Healy converts this one for 14-3. 11 points seems like a big lead with, it being so low scoring thus far. Edinburgh then, they give away a penalty. Ashman on the wrong side. And it's right at the restart. And, it's almost like it's going to happen sometimes with teams. Connacht go to the corner from the penalty. Edinburgh collapse them all, so we got penalty advantage. But Connacht are patient. They go close a couple of times. Then they get it to O'Halloran, who scores under the post. He did really well, just to drive himself over with a couple of players trying to prevent him. We then have a Timo check for a tackle by Skuman on Anger. It's upright. It's a high degree of danger. It's head on head, but there is mitigation because Ashman basically tackles Anger into him. So it's a yellow card, and that seems pretty fair. Conversion goes over, makes it 14-10. Edinburgh then, they tack off a scrum and they move it, and Prendergast is pinged for interference at the breakdown. I think maybe he's off his feet or maybe come in at the side, but Healy makes it 17-10. Connacht then come forward again. You have a nice run from O'Halloran, gets them into the 22. They go wide and Prendergast does well not to get bundled into touch. Back inside then, and Joe Joyce barrels his way over to score. Strong finish from him. Bursts through a double tackle. One of those tacklers as well was Big Bill Mata. Carty misses the conversion. It's 17-15. Edinburgh then in a decent position with a line out just inside the Connacht 22, but they get pinged for holding the man up in the air, looking for a penalty as Connacht were beginning to drive. Just before that, though, Caelan Blade, got withdrawn by Connacht, and it was probably good timing as well, because just before he was taken off, I'm sure it was already decided, but he got admonished by the referee for screaming at him, and it looked like he's getting himself in a bit of trouble. So he's off. They also bring on JJ Hanrahan for O'Halloran, thinking that maybe he's going to be better suited to what's looking like, going to be a tight finish. Edinburgh looking dangerous. Duhan van der Merwe, he cuts back inside again, just about hauled down. Sam Elo then, he's offside. Penalty to Edinburgh. Velicott goes quickly from the penalty, taps it and puts Mark Bennett over in the corner. Connacht caught completely napping on that one. Conversion missed, 22-17. Edinburgh a converted try ahead. Edinburgh then knock on at the restart. Great attacking position for Connacht, but Edinburgh win a penalty at the scrum. They really were on top of the scrum all night. Connacht then work it back into Edinburgh half. Some hard carries, then Riley makes a break into the 22. Edinburgh threatening at the breakdown, but Connacht moving the ball well. Conor Boyle then no clear release, penalty to Connacht. They go to the corner. Edinburgh do well to halt them all. Connacht go in field. Joyce and Prendergast with good carries. They're right in the shadows of the post. Daly almost spins out of a tackle to get over, and then eventually Prendergast, he gets over to score. Hanahan, he was brought on for just this moment. He's a better kicker than Carty, and he does slot the conversion to tie us up at 22 all. But there's an even better kicker who used to play for Ireland on the field. Edinburgh, they come forward looking for a score to win it, to go through a number of phases before Dean gets held up in the tackle. Connacht turn the ball over. Edinburgh, though, put in massive pressure at the scrum. Connacht scramble out, and JJ Hanrahan hacks the ball clear, but it was carried back into the 22. So line out to Edinburgh 10 metres out. Connacht offside as Edinburgh keep pressing. back then to Ben Healy, and he slots a drop goal to win the game with the last kick. Edinburgh win an epic game, and I felt like they were deserved winners in it as well. They made a lot of the running, and that just extra bit of nous, I think, from Healy really did help them there as well. I thought Kinghorn had an excellent game too. Van der Merwe in patches was very good as well. Mata may be a little bit quiet, compared to when we normally see him. But let's have a look at some of the stats from the game. So we're going to start, as always, with attack. So Edinburgh, they got 3 tries. Connacht 3 tries as well. Edinburgh, the initial plan, I think, was to go potentially for that bonus point try there at the end. But once a chance came up to win the game from Healy, he just popped over the drop goal. Probably the right decision. I know they had the penalty coming, but it was a little bit, far out. So it wasn't a gimme there. And, if they'd gone for the try and then missed that penalty, people would have said, oh, why didn't he take a drop goal? So I think absolutely the right decision from him. Possession 44% for Edinburgh, 56% for Connacht. Connacht plenty of the ball, not as incisive in attack as we've seen them before. They were moving the ball very quickly, but I felt like at times it could have taken a breath and, maybe just brought a little bit more thought to what they were actually doing rather than just kind of running through their phases. Because a lot of the time there was a big scramble to get the ball out, and then they were kind of moving from ruck to ruck, but not really setting anything up. Clean breaks, 9 for Edinburgh, 4 for Connacht. As I said, Edinburgh so dangerous on the turnover ball. 25 defenders beaten for them as well, to 15 from Connacht. Offloads, 11 from Edinburgh, 6 for Connacht. Onto defence then, territory, 49% for Edinburgh, 51 for Connacht. Number of tackles, 152 from Edinburgh, 93 for Connacht. So Connacht putting a lot of pressure on, but the Edinburgh defence holding well. You see that only 14 missed tackles is fairly decent. Connacht with 25, tackle success, 92% for Edinburgh is excellent. 79 for Connacht is definitely below par for the URC. Turnovers 1 then, 7 for Edinburgh, 6 for Connacht. And, the main turnover for me in the game was that Shields strip that led to the opening try and really did set up that momentum for Edinburgh. Onto kicking then, kicks retained, 2 for Edinburgh and none for Connacht. Felt like Healy definitely had the better kicking game compared to Carty, and putting up those contestable kicks really did help them. As I said, Connacht tried it a little bit at the start of the second half, but it was only kind of for the first kind of 5 minutes or so, and then went back to kind of retaining the ball and running after that. Penalties conceded then, 6 for Edinburgh, 7 for Connacht. Connacht's last one was right there to death, but it didn't matter anyway. Edinburgh didn't take it. They won with the drop goal instead. So, Connacht were one of only 3 teams that came into this round unbeaten. They got beaten, and now only Benetton are unbeaten in the entire URC, which is amazing from them. But Connacht, still a decent start to the season. They'll be glad to have that losing bonus point. Edinburgh, I think this is a really good win for them, and it's well deserved too. And they're made to work for it by Connacht, but when the pressure came on, the defence held up for them, and it gets them kind of back up there as well in that mix. They're on 3 wins, but the thing for Edinburgh, I feel, and it's something Edinburgh and Benetton have kind of suffered from this, is that they're not scoring enough tries to get bonus points. So even though they have 3 wins, Munster, who 2 wins and a draw, are still ahead of Edinburgh in the table. So I'd like to see them maybe they do have a dangerous attack, but they just have to, it's normally on turnover ball that they're actually using it. If they could get that working when they actually have, ball themselves, I think we're going to see a lot better from this Edinburgh team. But, they're going to be very happy with this win against, Connacht, who came into this round basically top of the table. So, both Scottish teams now in the top 8, and I don't think you could have asked for more from them in the opening rounds.